Well, yesterday, JRF had their media and communications meeting, and as we do, we get an update. And we have the chair of that committee, Stanley Felenstein. Nice to see you today.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. Actually, there were probably the most participants and the members that I've seen there in a long time.
Oh, yes. I think so, too.
It was a very good turnout. And as always, the meeting usually begins with the report really from Heather Rasmussen, and she gives us the website report and the amount of people that are visiting our website, and also about Facebook and Twitter and things like that, which is always good to see that people from around the world look at the website.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And she was talking about the differences of hits and unique visits. And when you see those numbers go up, they typically, for the month of December, they're kind of stagnant. But overall, past couple of years, you see those go up, and it's nice. It's a way for people to electronically look at our community.
I think it's a good way to publicize the existence of the community.
Yeah.
I understand it may be the largest community of its type in the country.
I think it is. Yeah, I really do. It's certainly a very unique place in that, not that I want to get off subject, but what's nice is that the amount of amenities here, you may have physical size communities that are larger physically, but the amount of amenities we have here, right down to having our own social services and things, is remarkable.
It is.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Well, we're going to get into the broadband part, particularly the cable operations. And yesterday, the big turnout was really from, I would say, a lot of the Asian community that lives here, and they had concerns about some of the stations. The signal was just not great. It would drop in and out, it would stagnate, would tile, and so Russ talked a little bit about that.
Well, for me, this is a learning process.
Yeah.
And I think it is a learning process for most of the community as well.
Yeah.
We watch TV and don't realize all of the technical aspects that are in place in order to produce that picture. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of expertise, and sometimes machinery fails. And we're unaware of that. We're accustomed to having it available at any moment.
Yeah.
I think that yesterday's meeting was particularly important to the committee because it emphasized the need for variation in programming.
Yes.
We had a representation of the Asian community who asked for the restoration of, I believe it was 2 channels that had been canceled. And the committee, after hearing the discussion, determined that those channels should be replaced. It is very significant to me, at least, that the cost of replacing those 2 channels was 6 cents per man per month, an insignificant amount for anyone in the community. And but then on the other hand, we had the interesting situation of the woman who appeared and said, look, you favored the Asian community, but there are 2 Spanish-speaking channels that are no longer available to us. And the problem was that it was difficult to explain to this woman that the cause of the loss of those 2 channels did not lie with this division of our community, but rather with the broadcaster who refused to respond to all requests for the price that he wanted for retransmission.
Yeah, exactly.
And still has not done so. And it was I've forgotten this lady's name, but it is my intention to reach her
Mhm.
and explain the situation to her. Perhaps I can make it a little clearer because I do speak Spanish as well.
Mhm.
And hopefully we will be able to satisfy the Latin community as well.
Yeah, and you brought up a very good point. The diversity of this community is really growing.
Yes.
And you want to meet the needs of everyone, but as was said in the meeting yesterday, there's also a diverse group who enjoy different kinds of sports, and to please everyone would be quite costly to everyone because it's a shared cost.
Yes, and particularly those who have graduated from schools in sections
Yes.
of the country who want to see the games played by those schools. And it makes it very difficult because if you were to take all of the stations available,
Mhm.
it
Right.
would be very, very costly.
Yeah, and it's even getting more so with teams like the Dodgers and the Lakers and such, and really throughout the country, who now have very specific deals with very specific companies. In fact, just the other day, I think it was a day or so ago, there was a thing on the news about how the people who have Time Warner are going to see their prices go up significantly to pay for the fact that Time Warner is the deal maker with the Dodgers and such, and they're going to make it so everyone has to pay for it now. So, there's challenges. There definitely is.
Russ Ridgway, the director of this division, presented a comparison yesterday between the cost to the resident here in this community for the television and broadband service and the cost that would be with an outside company such as Cox. And I thought that was done in very good fashion. It was an excellent presentation. And the committee decided that it would be a good idea to make that available in printed copy so
Very
that
good.
everybody who wished in the community can pick up a copy and be informed as to why we pay the certain price that we do.
Right.
One of the factors that I was completely unaware of was that the actual cost of presenting the material that we receive is higher than we realize because the cost is reduced to us by the income from advertisements.
Right.
And that's an important factor.
Yeah.
To some degree, I think we missed the boat with our complicated accounting system because it's not easy to find those figures. And fortunately, Russ did an excellent job in presenting it to us, and I hope the community will learn from that. And perhaps some of the criticism about the cost of the operation will be satisfied, let's say,
Yeah.
by having the information at hand.
Well, again, one of the unique things about having our own in-house system, if you will, is the fact that there's a committee meeting once a month that people can go to, where if it was an outside service, well, you kind of get what they have for the entire area, and they're not going to be as receptive in hearing people. I know that. I have Cox, and I know when I go down there and talk to them, it's like, okay, well, here's a free channel for a few months. Goodbye, see you later. And that's really, because they can't do anything. It's a big corporation. So
I did
Yeah.
an investigation a couple of years ago because I believed that if we had brought in somebody like DirecTV,
Right.
it would be cheaper. And to my utter amazement, they wouldn't even give me a price for a
Really?
community installation unless I was authorized to sign a contract with them. And at that time, I wasn't even on the board of directors. I
Yeah.
certainly had no influence other than to gather information.
yeah, exactly.
And I was surprised that they just simply would not give the information.
Yeah, that's true. Again, you've talked about this. You said this at the meeting yesterday, that at times that some of even the committee members wanted to go ahead and do something, and you reminded people, even on the committee several times, that no, we're here to advise. The final decision is with the JRF board, which you were on, of course, but you were speaking how all committees work.
Well, you see, I am one of 11, and I know that I am very opinionated. I have my views as to how things should
really?
run. It goes back to 2007 when I went on the third board.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that the newcomers occasionally come with an attitude that I am going to sweep it clean and change everything.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't that easy.
No.
Plus the fact that the opinions and ideas of a single person are not necessarily the best for the community.
Mm-hmm.
I keep repeating, our boards are made up of 11 members. It is an odd number so that we never have a division, an
Right.
even division. We always have that extra vote which can decide, and it belongs to the chair. When you have varied personalities and backgrounds serving on a committee,
Mm-hmm.
you will have differences of opinion and views. And that is what is intended, because that assures that we will consider all aspects.
Right.
And when you consider all the aspects and put them in the pot and mix them up, you finally get a good taste.
Right.
You get the right decision.
Exactly.
And I don't think any one of us is blessed with the magic opinion that will prevail.
That's true. And speaking to that, you introduced two advisors to
Yes,
the
I
committee
did.
yesterday, Carol Skidell and Jonathan Adler, and sort of explain what is their mission, their purpose as advisors.
Carol Skidell has worked in media previously. She's very skillful in the English language. She writes beautifully. She has revised any number of articles so that they are clearer and simpler.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that she can be very useful to our community by working with Heather Rasmussen on the newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
Her
Yes.
services there will be really appreciated, and a matter of fact, she may be useful in other areas where the spoken word or the written word is important.
Mm-hmm.
She is excellent at that. Jonathan Adler, as I said in the introduction, is the best constitutional lawyer I have ever met. I practiced law for 47 years and I met a lot of lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
He is an excellent researcher and he writes very well. He's clear and simple. We have many documents, particularly in this division, and those documents sometimes have questionable language in
Right.
them because they're written not by lawyers but by laymen.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the aspects may deal with First Amendment rights, for example.
Right.
Jonathan will take care of that aspect of these documents. He will reform them or revise them so that they conform with the law in every respect. We had last year, or when I say last year, I mean in 2014, we had an incident of a newspaper that wished to be distributed in the community
Mm-hmm.
and was denied that right. It was a question of civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
And it was finally resolved favorably for the community without litigation or anything else of that type. But is much better to foresee those possibilities and correct them before the
Exactly.
crisis arises.
Yeah, and he'll be most helpful with
He'll
that.
be very helpful.
Couple good additions to the committee. Anything else you'd like to update us on, or?
I can think of nothing of significance at this moment because I'm new. I'm just learning. You must give me
I
some
learned
time.
too. You know, I come down to the meeting. I can't stay the whole meeting because I got to get back up here. But I always learn when I go to that meeting. It's fascinating.
And I'm always
It
happy
really
to
is.
see you there.
Well, it's good to see you too. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank
we appreciate
you.
it. Let me mention that the next meeting of the Media and Communications Committee will be on Monday, February 9th. It's always on the second Monday unless there's a holiday or something mixed in there. And it's at 1:30 down in the boardroom. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Nice
very
to see
much.
you. You
A
take
good
care.
day to you.
Have a good day. We'll be right back. We'll get you unhooked.